I have never played the video games based off of this franchise before. The only knowledge I had going in was what I managed to obtain from here and there of YouTube videos, like from 3C Films. Beforehand, I did watch an interview with the producer of the film, Jason Blum, where he had stated that this was a film made for the fans. And now, having watched the movie, I can say certainly that if you're not a fan of the franchise, you will not enjoy this movie. That is not to say you will not find some type of pleasure and enjoyment out of certain scenes and ideas the movie has, but you will never fully enjoy the experience as the fans will. My theater erupted in laughter and cheering as certain moments took place, and it honestly left me confused on what the commotion was about. The film features the main character, Mike, who is forced to work down at the closed down pizzeria that has a shady history and functioning animatronic mascots. And the movie does stay true to its name, where the events takes place over the course of 5 days at night. Despite being advertised as a horror film, there is barely any actual horror that even takes place. Children under a certain age might find particular scenes frightening, but those of an older demographic will feel nothing. And this is a franchise that is known for its jump scares, and this film suffers from not having more of those. If you're going to limit enjoyment from the blood and gore to create this PG-13 rating, then the least you can do is have well-crafted jump scares. The film suffers from its attempt to take itself so seriously and create this dark atmosphere, despite the consistently campy tone it has. The film takes major efforts to hide such obvious details and facts that it was clear that the fans had already known beforehand. If this was a film made for the fans, why would you work so hard to hide such obvious details that they already know? These actions consume up so much extra runtime, and as a result, it makes the film fall into a slump where people can easily get bored as they wait for the story to actually pick up. Mike has such a fascinating background, as his goal in life is to financially support his sister while he attempts to find the man who kidnapped his little brother. And this compelling backstory introduces such a cool concept of dream theory, which was the best part of the film. And the dream theory is that our brains do not forget any details, and that all information is stored deep within our minds, and we can only access it by diving into our dreams. And this was such a fascinating idea in this film, the best part of this film that really caught my attention. Mike's main motive in protecting his sister, Abby, is to ensure that his evil aunt does not gain custody of her. But despite this, the whole plot of the aunt doesn't even make any sense. She wants Abby for the checks from the government, which would say she is not wealthy, but somehow the aunt has money on hand to pay hooligans to go and vandalize Mike's workplace and constantly afford a lawyer to represent her. The aunt is built up to be this horrible person too, but for some reason, Mike later asked her to babysit Abby. Another character I had a problem with was the police officer Vanessa. I'm sure the actress has talent, but in this film, her character had such dry dialogue and fed out any information in this robotic manner. This whole character was clearly written to serve as a guide for Mike into the pizzeria's history. The highlight of this film for me was the performance put up by Matthew Lillard. He plays the main villain, and despite the little time he was given, he has this eerie presence and performance when he's on screen. Lillard is a great actor, and I would watch a sequel just to see his return. This film made bucket loads of money, so a sequel is practically greenlighted at this point. Easter eggs inserted in this were made for the fans, with cameos only they would recognize. If you're not a fan, it will push you out of the film and limit your enjoyment with just a wandering mind filled with different questions. Who are these people? What does this mean? Why did they clap for that? While it's not an outright horrible film, there are a few standout moments I would personally Only suggest watching this film in theaters if you are a fan, and if you are simply curious, want to have a casually entertaining time, you can give it a watch for free on Peacock.